Hi, Marisa. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So, how is it going with the work from home and all?
Working from home is awesome. I think we're busier than ever.
Okay.
Not sure why, but I think it's a good thing. So just counting our blessings as we are. A lot of our coaching programs, our seminars, we've all moved it all up onto webinars. So it's easy
Okay.
for us to convert. So we're also responsible helping a lot of clients as some of them are in our coaching programs as well. So it's been
Okay.
quite a big deal in the last 1 to 2 weeks,
Okay.
helping the clients in our care to land on their feet with the sudden urgent announcements since the 18th of March. So it's been quite a lot to do. Pretty emotional for some of them as well. So we're trying to be that rock for many of our clients as always. So
How are they doing, your clients and all? I know it's not easy. It's generally, very tough.
yeah.
How are they coping up?
Well, generally, if the clients and some of them have been doing a lot better as they have been growing, they have a good growth path in the
Okay.
last year or so, so they've got enough cash. So for me,
Okay.
it's about cash. It's about having pockets that are deep enough at this moment. But if I
Okay.
may, some of them that are newer and they're still smaller and you're trying to, we've all been there. We've all been there where
Yeah.
we're trying
Yes.
to push up that hill and that rock, and then all this happens, and we're just going, it's gonna knock the wind out of the business owners, nevertheless, whether
Right.
you're small or you're big, whether you've got cash or you don't. It is going to take a significant amount out of us this next 1 to 2 months. Hopefully that's how long we're going to be on this restricted order. Yeah.
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 Okay, okay. So to our
Yeah.
audience here, let me
Yeah.
first introduce you, Marisa, to
Yeah.
everybody here in the room. So today we're having basically a lot of businesses are facing tough times with a
Yeah.
lot of payments to do, employees to pay, overheads, and yet no business. Business is at a standstill. So
Yeah.
what can we do during this time? So today we have live with Marisa three strategies to lead your businesses during through this uncertainty. All right,
Mm,
it's a big topic right now,
mm.
and Marisa is actually the CEO and founder of the Spark Group Asia, which is a leadership and business coaching company. So it'll be a perfect it'll be really good to have you share all the tips
Mm.
that can possibly help the business or what the business people are facing right now. Okay,
Yeah.
over to you, Marisa.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vyasa. And before I go into this, first of all, thank you for having me live here. I really appreciate doing this. I think what I really like is that we're doing our part, Vyasa, to keep the community as motivated and as
Right,
connected as possible. I think that's very, very good part. So I really appreciate. I've been watching your interviews, and I think it's
right,
been awesome. So thank you for having me. And so I'd like to get into some of the three most powerful things. I think for me, Vyasa, there are a lot of things. If I may, there's so many things that we can do during this time, and a lot of people don't really see it. They see it as a time where, I'm sometimes I spend time on Facebook, and we get all these people doing weird stuff. They're
yeah.
swimming on the kitchen floor and they're doing strange stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
But I tell a lot of the people that I coach. I just did a webinar earlier as well, that
right,
this is a golden opportunity. Now I say golden opportunity because this is never gonna happen ever. I mean, I hope in the lifetime that I'm alive, that I still have breath in me, I won't see another COVID
oh
19.
no,
Oh no, I really hope
yeah,
that. Yeah, yeah. So, but again, this is such an amazing opportunity. Amazing
right,
opportunity for what? And
right,
this is it. Now, a lot of business owners don't realize this, but because they have to close their doors, they've got to shut down, and
yeah,
they've got all these employees that are still on their head count,
right,
and it's really scary for Vyasa is really scary for a lot of employers, but
yeah,
don't forget, it's also really scary for the employees too.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
It's really, there's no options. It's not like I
Yeah.
get fired and I can go and do
Yeah.
Grab car or work in Starbucks, because all these are closed, so there are no options. So for the
Yeah.
employee, it's pretty
Yeah.
nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I may, this is the time that we have, as leaders and an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter whether you run a company with 2 people or 200 people. This is the time that you reel everyone in. You really
Mm.
in, meaning, I don't know if you guys feel really
Mm.
in, meaning you bring it all way closer to you. That
Mm.
means when you bring the team with you, and this is crucial because
Right.
in a time of uncertainty and crisis,
Mm.
we've had clients whose employees, the minute the MCO was announced,
Right.
they came into our office. That was a Tuesday morning because we found out on Monday. She came in on Tuesday morning. That means we could still go to the office.
Right.
They were crying.
Mm.
Don't fire me, don't let me go. And that's
Mm.
the thing. The
Oh.
key area in uncertainty and as leaders is communication.
Yep.
And this is one of the most key things because in a time like this, we cannot over communicate. And this is
Yep.
something that I really love that I'm seeing from our government authorities.
Right.
And I don't want to go into, whether they're doing things right or wrong.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to go into that. But
Yeah.
if you look at the frequency of the communication via SA, it's
Right.
amazing how often we've heard from our PM, how often
Yeah.
we're hearing from the ministers about
Yeah.
what's going on, the
Yeah.
updates that we're getting.
Yeah.
And this I love very much because, and this is key number one, all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Key number one is when all of us are forced into just suddenly not being able to go to work anymore
Mm-hmm.
because that is a pattern. That is a pattern.
Right.
Waking up in the morning,
Yeah.
driving yourself to the office,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
that. That's a
Yeah.
pattern. And
Yeah.
humans are creatures of habit.
Pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, and pattern, habit. And that's the part that's missing right now. Because,
Mm-hmm.
and if I may, that is the part that you've got to reel it in as leaders to create a tempo.
Mm.
Bring back the tempo, bring it back because people go to work. You see your colleagues sitting there, you call for your top few guys to have a quick meeting, and then you start running your day. But the
Right.
thing is, now that does not exist. So,
Yeah.
what is your tempo?
You call a
What
quick
is
meeting with your family, and
you
have
call a quick
breakfast
meeting? Yeah, I know,
and
right?
motivate them.
And motivate them. We're gonna be okay. But you see, you call
Okay.
it with your family, and that's good. You see,
Yeah.
we're also leaders of our families, and a
Yeah.
lot of people say,
Yeah.
well, I don't have a company to lead, but you
Yeah.
lead your family, you lead yourself, and this is the thing. So the strategy number one is to bring back the tempo, bring back the beat. When I say
Mm.
bring back the beat is,
Yeah.
design those meetings, and we call these huddles. I usually get clients to operate to implement huddles. Huddles
Okay.
are short meetings, nothing more than 30 minutes.
Right.
You do them in the morning,
Right.
so everyone checks in on Zoom and has a 30-minute, nothing more than that. Some last about 15 minutes. Check
Right.
in 9 a.m. and check out 5 p.m. You see,
Mm.
and they do this daily. Get the beat, get the beat, get the beat. So that's checking
Mm.
in. Now, see, the thing is, it's like running. If I
Right.
ask you to run a marathon
Right.
for, what is it, 42 kilometers,
Yeah.
and you're running a marathon fast and
Yeah.
slow, you
Yeah.
get tired by the fifth kilometer.
Yeah.
The
True.
thing is, if you're creating that regularity, bring that back, it
Mm.
becomes easier for us to run our business. And
Right.
with that kind of tempo, Vyasa, we're eliminating the uncertainty.
Mm.
We're eliminating uncertainty. Now,
Mm.
not just the employee's uncertainty, but also
Right.
the
Yes.
employer. Absolutely. So
Okay.
that's a really powerful strategy. That's very, very easy to do. Because we work from home, we can wake up anytime. We can cook lunch anytime. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I eat my lunch like really early, so I start cooking at 10:30.
Right.
And then I want to eat my dinner at like, some people want to eat dinner at 4.
Yeah.
Some people want to have dinner at 10.
Yes.
But the thing is, how are you building this tempo so that, of course, check in the morning and then find out what the team is doing. That means when you huddle, what are you doing for the rest of the day? Set your clarity for the rest of the day. And then at the
Right.
end of the day, what did you get done? Okay, what are you going to do tomorrow? And then huddle,
Right.
huddle, 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 huddle.
Right.
So you're bringing the tempo back because we used to have a tempo when we go to the office, but we won't have a tempo anymore now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've got to design that.
Yeah.
Make sense? Yeah.
So
That's
the
very
first
important.
thing you're saying is like have a morning meeting and an evening meeting, very quick one.
Yes.
Does that
Yes.
help?
Yes. So that's called a
Okay.
huddle. Yeah.
Okay.
And in fact, very, very good sales teams know how to do that. And it's called a
Right.
huddle. Why? Because the worst way to do a huddle, huddles from a
Yeah.
football, the
Yes.
football
Yes.
team.
Yes.
So they call the
Yeah.
strategy 10 hut, 10
Yeah.
hut,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So a huddle is a very in pre-quarantine, a huddle are actually standing meetings. So
Right.
if you get to meet your team, everybody's
Yeah.
standing, nobody sit down because you sit down,
Yeah.
it becomes how long? The meeting becomes, an hour
Then
and
it
a
becomes
half.
a teh tarik session.
Yeah, the direct session, it becomes 2 hours in like, when is it? So you can't afford
Right.
a 2 hour meeting in the morning and the end, at the
Right.
end of the day. So you're
Yep.
doing a huddle, 30 minutes, huddle, huddle, especially if you have teams that are still working
Right.
from home. So then you want
Yeah.
to decide who is in your huddle.
Right.
Maybe they are your six key managers, maybe
Right.
with your C-level suite,
Yeah.
maybe with your executive team, your retail team, if you want them to
Right.
do stuff. And you see, and this brings me to the second strategy, Vyasa.
Mm-hmm.
The second key strategy that's going to let you sail through this business, sail your business through this uncertainty is, and if I may, it's obvious, but not obvious to some people,
Mm-hmm.
is having a killer plan.
Mm-hmm.
Having a killer plan.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Vyasa, this plan that we gotta create during this time is not the one for year 2020 that we started our year. Most
Right.
people would have that business plan.
Yeah.
But that is assuming that we're not locked down.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Most of us have that, right?
Right.
So we need a solid work from home. We call it in our company, we have this too, the Spark Group Asia, we've
Right.
deployed our WFH plan. Sounds like a bad word,
Okay.
but please, work
Okay.
from home
Yes.
plan.
Yes. Almost. Almost.
Almost sounds like a bad word. It was a WFH plan.
Yeah.
So the working from home plan is very different. Why? Because the
Yeah.
work from home plan is what we're gonna do in this next 2, 3, 4, 6 weeks
Right.
that is outside of all the things. You see, we could not get to a lot of things that we wanted to build in our business because we're busy. You
Yeah.
know, the
Yeah.
business owners are
Yes.
busy, the employees are busy. So
Yes.
there are all these things that we could have done, but we can't
Mm-hmm.
do them because busy,
Yeah.
busy working in the business.
Yes.
But
Yes.
now that all that is gone, all right,
Right.
now that there's okay, no more customers to talk to, no more suppliers, all these things that you got to manage outside of the business
Yes.
now, because of all that that has gone down,
Yes.
what can go up? Work on the
Work on the
business.
business. Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
Absolutely. Things like this that you're doing, Vyasa, is working on the business. All this video content that we could not have got to because we're busy, Marissa's busy, everybody else
Yeah.
is busy too.
Yeah.
And the fact that now we have all this time, what are we going to do with this time to work on the business? Now, and this is the thing. In this golden opportunity that we have, what is your intention? What is your purpose? Is your purpose to sharpen your axe so sharp that when the doors open and COVID-19, the world is rid of all this virus and it's
Mm-hmm.
safe to come out again,
Mm-hmm.
how strong is your business going to be? How much
Yeah.
stronger, fitter, faster, more
Right.
effective, leaner, quicker
Right. Right.
are we going to be?
Right.
That is so powerful. And that's the kind of plan that we got to create. There's nothing external. If you look at a SWOT, SWOT, there's the
Yeah.
external and there's the internal.
Yeah.
Right now, there's nothing external that we need to do. We don't need to be
Mm.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Everything is internal. And what's
Yeah.
internal? SOPs,
Mm-hmm.
systems,
Mm-hmm.
efficiencies,
Mm-hmm.
your team, skilling
Mm-hmm.
your team, all
Killing
that.
your team.
No, 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 no. Skilling.
Killing.
Jangan cakap salah.
Oh,
Oh, skilling.
skilling your team. Okay.
Now they're gonna watch that and they go, oh my gosh. You're gonna frighten our
Oops.
employees, okay? You're gonna
Yeah.
frighten them out. Skilling
Oh,
the team is
okay.
internal.
Right.
And all that goes into our powerful plan for world domination. If you were on my
Okay.
webinar, people were
Right.
laughing because I said, well, what is your plan for world domination when COVID-19 is over?
Yeah.
That's the kind
That's
of
a
plan
good.
you're gonna have.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it out there. How to do world dominate once it's over, right?
Yeah. And you
Mm.
know what, Vyasa, we don't even need to worry if we are too slow,
Okay.
because everybody is slowing down, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But we don't need to worry about slowing down. You know why? Everybody also slow.
Yes. Everybody is
Everybody's
slow
at
right
home.
now. Yeah. True. True. True.
Everyone's at
True.
home. Who cares?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So it's like we're on this level playing field,
Yes.
and it has never been that way. Okay, but you see, it's not really level.
Right.
You see, it's not really level because those people who are watching this interview now are gonna
Yeah.
go, I gotta have a plan for
Yeah.
world domination.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
these people that are watching this video are just going, that's the kind of plan that I gotta have.
Yeah.
What's my plan to work on the business? I kid you not. Our
Mm.
clients are coming up with, I've got a client, she came up with a serious target, and she says she's going to come up with 50 videos by the end of the extended MCO. I'm like,
Wow.
50? Wait. Oh, we have how many days left? I've got
50.
crazy, right?
Right.
Crazy. I've got clients who are calling up hundreds of customers to get
Right.
feedback and testimonials. So they're on a rampage to get all these reviews on Google
Mm.
and Facebook,
Yeah.
all these things they could not have done. And they
Yes.
don't
Yes.
mind calling their customers now because the customers are also not doing anything.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I'm
there's
not
no
happy to hear
excuse.
from you. No excuse. That's
Yeah.
right. I was too
Everybody's at
busy to
home.
fill up. That's right. Everybody is at home. And there's no excuse that, oh, I didn't see your feedback form. Sorry.
Yeah. I got to finish this after the meeting today. No, we
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
say that, right?
No, I can't. Oops.
Mm.
And if I may, it's a perfect opportunity to get all those things done that we couldn't have otherwise gotten done because we were busy.
Yes.
This is the second strategy. What
Right.
is your work from home plan that
Mm-hmm.
will help you dominate the world once all this is done?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
super.
So the first one is tempo, and the second one is a plan. Having a
World
plan.
domination plan. Yes.
World domination plan. Okay.
Yeah, I like to say it that way because, oh yeah, how do I
Right.
do that?
Right. Right.
And so
Right.
that is very, very powerful. And of course,
Right.
if you need help, talking about that plan, what goes on that plan, please
Right.
feel free to talk to me on Facebook. Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm very,
Okay.
very happy to just
Right.
share so many ideas. Like when I talk to my clients,
Yeah.
even my mind is blowing up, like, oh my gosh, I gotta write that down because we brainstorm together. So as
Right.
much as we're supporting our clients, our clients are also very easily inspired, and they switch their focus very, very quickly, because most of the people we talk to are going, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, what do I do now?
Right.
But when once they switch their focus, very easily our clients are inspiring as well. So if you want to reach out to anybody, by all means, feel free. I'm very happy to be at anyone's disposal if you want to have a chat. Yeah. And then I'll
Okay.
share the
Okay.
third strategy. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Are you
Okay.
ready?
For the third one, right?
The third one. The third strategy is super, super powerful, but a lot of people will not look at it this way. And it's got something to do with what I talked about with team. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
So there's a formula. So let me share
Mhm.
this formula.
Okay.
Most of us want an engaged team, right? So we want
Okay.
team members that are empowered, that are engaged, that are ready to be proactive and run the mile with our
Right.
organization, right? Doesn't
Yes.
matter whether we have
Yes.
2 people or 2,000 people. So we
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
want employees that
Yes.
are engaging.
Yeah. Yeah.
To have an engaged employee is actually a formula of 2 parts. All
Right.
right. I'm going
Right.
to share this formula
Right.
because that's important. And if I may, Vyasa, if you want to put up a picture or anything, that's
Uh-huh.
up to you. But I'll
Okay.
just share it now. The
Okay.
2 parts of an engaged employee is number one,
Right.
performance.
Okay.
So, an engaged employee has to be competent enough to deliver performance
Okay.
results, right? So
Right.
that's the first part
Right.
of
Yeah.
the formula. The
Yeah.
second part of the formula is an element that we call meaning. So an
Me-
engaged employee, yeah,
right.
meaning. Okay, so let
Meaning.
me explain a bit more. The
Okay.
meaning of the employee when they are so engaged and empowered, the
Right.
meaning that they have in working in your company,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm.
values that they know they have to uphold, the
Mm-hmm.
culture, the
Mm.
purpose of your organization. So if you
Mm-hmm.
run a
Mm.
swimming school,
Mm.
their purpose is not to deliver swimming class. Their
Right.
purpose is to help every child learn swimming in the safest manner. So you see, the
Mm.
purpose, the thing that you do, and your purpose is very different. So you see, this is
Mm.
the second element. The meaning of your employee when they are working in your company. Now, this is the
Right.
reason why I bring these 2 parts here, Vyasa, is very important because performance and meaning
Mm-hmm.
create the engaged employee.
Performance and meaning.
Performance and meaning. Now, and
Okay.
let me just be very extreme for now.
Right. Right.
Have you experienced employees that are super high performers,
Yes.
but they've got very poor values? Tak align.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you
You're
see,
right. Yeah.
100 and zero, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you also know employees that are very good values. Wow, and they would be chalking it, always first in the office, last to
Right.
leave.
Right.
But performance a bit make mistakes a
Mm.
lot,
Mm.
not
Mm. Mm.
sure. Have you
Yes.
seen that? Okay, so can you see
Yes.
the extremes now?
Yes. Yeah.
So performance and meaning
Mm-hmm.
need to come together
Okay.
for the
Okay.
engaged employee, right?
Okay. Okay.
However, let's bring it to the third strategy, and we are in the MCO.
Right.
So, what can we do for performance?
Mm-hmm.
Not much. It's not much that I can get this employee to show me the results now.
Okay.
I can work on her skills a little bit,
Okay.
maybe some communication skills, some
Okay.
leadership skills, planning
Right.
skills can,
Right.
but on performance, not much, right?
That means you are saying that you can't expect performance at this time. Is
Well,
that what
not
you're
at
saying?
this time. Yeah, it's not
Okay.
much I
Okay.
can do, right?
Okay. Okay.
But because I can't expect much in terms of performance,
Right.
I can do the other one,
Okay.
which means to build the meaning of my employees
Okay.
with the organization.
Right.
So now this is very important because now this is the part a lot of businesses don't get to. They don't get
Right.
to the part where I want to educate my employees on my values,
Right.
my culture. Do the employees and do my team members understand the purpose of my company?
Mm-hmm.
Number one, the relationships that I have with my team. Okay, maybe I, as a employer, I know my employees, but do my employees know each other? What are the
Mm-hmm.
relationships that they have? What are the bonds that
Okay.
they have? Now,
Mm-hmm.
this is, Vyasa, this is
Right.
something that always gets overlooked because of busyness.
Okay.
It's very
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah. Yeah. During a
Yeah,
normal day-to-day busyness, you just sometimes you don't have the time to do all of this.
correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So when we look at this two-part formula, because performance, you can't expect so much because look,
Yeah.
nobody's working. Of course, there's a certain amount of capability, skill building,
Yeah.
like some
Yeah.
of the trainings that you do, Vyasa. You
Right.
can still work on that during these times when it's all a shutdown.
Yeah.
But the bigger part that is always missing is building the employees' meaning to your organization, i.e., the values, the culture, the
Mm,
bonds. Will they die for each other? Will they put their own needs aside and help
right,
another person?
right.
Now, this is really, really powerful because this is the time. And if I may, it also comes down to leadership here. In a time
Mm,
where there's so much of uncertainty,
right.
this is where you bring your values into your team and you educate those values just by
Mm.
simply showing up.
How
Showing
can
up.
you do this at this time?
Oh, very, very fantastic. I'm talking to all my clients and we're implementing this. We can I just share a very simple exercise? This is the
Sure,
simplest.
sure,
So many. So let me
sure.
pull one out of the bag for you.
Right, right, right.
Number one, we call it a personal histories exercise.
Okay,
So literally everybody goes on Zoom, and
okay.
it can be with your team or your
Yeah,
extended team, and then
right.
have several tiers of asking the questions. All right, because you
Mm-hmm,
don't want to
mm-hmm.
go into personal histories right away and ask about your biggest, deepest fears in your life. You don't want to get to
Mm,
that main
mm,
question too
mm,
early. So you want to
mm.
start with some superficial questions. For
Right,
example, in the
right.
personal histories exercise, how
Yeah,
many siblings have you got? How big is your family? How many kids have
right,
you got? Where are you
right,
from?
right,
Right? Sometimes you
right.
don't know those.
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
True, 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 true.
Yeah. So, and then I mean, I take that upon myself as well because
Right.
sometimes I don't know these things. So this is oh my gosh.
that's that's part of the life.
Yeah, that
That's my
is.
son.
No, terkejut.
He just needs to show his face here, okay? So he said hello and then
Okay. Okay.
okay.
Ah,
Yeah. You were
I
saying about yeah.
where
Sorry I made you terkejut there already.
I terkejut. That's okay. What was I talking about? Oh,
Personal
okay.
history.
Personal
Personal
histories. Okay.
history. Yeah.
Yeah. So start with like how many kids you got. And just when we're talking about kids. Oh,
Sorry, sorry.
that's okay. That's
That pulled
okay.
you off.
That's all right. No, it is fun. It's fun, and yeah. So start with some of the brief questions, the easier superficial questions, and then get
Right.
deeper.
Mm.
Then start talking about childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Start talking about childhood. Start talking about what are your happiest memories as a child? What are
Right,
your
right, right.
scariest memories as a
Right,
child?
right, right.
Share some of those.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah, and then you go around. Everybody gets to share. The
Right.
third question.
Yeah.
I like to ask this question a little bit. What was the worst boss that you've ever had?
Mm.
Hopefully not
Not
the
you,
yeah,
not the boss.
hopefully not the right. Actually, it's you, but then I would say someone else lah.
That's the that is
Yeah,
the double-edged sword there.
double-edged sword, right? So actually, it's like, but because you
It's
kind
a
of want to
fun thing.
understand. It's a fun thing. You kind of want to
Yeah.
understand. What are some of the issues? What are the issues that they face? That create
Right.
that form who they are.
Yeah.
And then the last one, which is a really deep question:
Mhm.
who is your mentor in your life, and why?
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Interesting.
this personal histories exercise is mind blowing. Don't have to do it all at once. Do them at
Okay.
separate meetings.
Right.
Separate. Maybe you do 2 meetings in a week. And then you space them out 2 or 3 days, and
Yeah.
then you ask. So, but grow the intensity. Now, this is very important because
Right.
it helps employees understand each other in life.
Mm.
And this is one of the things that we realize about human beings is that when things go wrong, it's when somebody makes a mistake,
Right.
it's easy for us to assume that they made the mistake because of their character.
Right.
When I make the mistake, I
Right.
make the mistake because of my environment.
Right.
So you see how there's that difference. So
Okay. I didn't get you there. Can
so
you
when
just
somebody make when yeah, it's easy to assume that when somebody makes a mistake, they
right.
make a mistake and it's a reflection on their character. When
Okay.
somebody makes it,
Okay.
and when I make a mistake, it's a reflection of my environment. That means what's
So I
outside.
have an excuse.
Yeah, it's easy to assume. it's easy
Yes.
to assume that it was because of that person's character.
Right.
That's
Right.
why lah,
Right.
you know. But
Yeah.
when we do the personal histories exercise,
Yeah.
we help people not be so judgmental. Does that
Mm.
make sense?
Interesting.
And
Interesting.
and
Yeah.
that's very very important as well,
Right.
because then
Right.
people have more compassion, they have more understanding with another
Mm-hmm.
person
Right.
when you know more about this person. Now, of course,
Yeah.
some people take it the other way around, and then they know more about you and they take that and they attack you with it. I mean, that's why it's very. Okay, some people, yeah lah, you are the youngest child, ma, sure lah, like that lah. Some people, I say, oh, that is teruk, okay? Don't. That is
Ambil peluang
taking
lah.
ambil peluang. Oh, no, no, no. Sometimes the more you know about a person is also
Yeah.
practicing not being judgmental or not being biased. But you see, you can
Right.
set all this up. This is all part of culture and value by being open and transparent.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And I got this other guy. So he runs a
Okay.
software development company. So inside his
Right.
company, all boys.
Okay.
And you know how he's doing this strategy number three?
Right.
He's actually playing games with all his team members. So they
Ah.
turn on a multiplayer game.
Right.
So they got this shooting,
Yes.
race
Yes.
cars, and then
Yes.
they all play together. And then they've got
Right.
one where they cook a meal in the kitchen.
Right.
Yeah, so he's playing all. So they've got all their games all
Okay.
set up. So after they finish work, turn off and they play games together.
Okay. So it's like a bonding thing, is it?
It's bonding. That's right. Where will we have time to play games with our team members? It's
Mm.
always running after something. And when you're done
Yeah.
running, I'm so tired. 8 o'clock at night, I want to sleep.
True. 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 True.
So
Yeah.
now is the time to be able to do all that we couldn't otherwise have done. Now imagine we do all this in this time
Right.
when the doors are open again.
Right.
I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to
Yeah.
chase that business down. I'm ready to world domination.
Right.
How ready is your team?
Hmm.
Where
True.
are they
True.
going to be for you?
Very
Yeah,
interesting. Very interesting.
totally.
Yeah.
So it's building not just the systems SOPs. People
Yeah.
tend to take advantage of time to come up with those process flows and blah blah
Right.
blah.
Right. Right. Right.
Not just that. For
Yeah.
me, it's also those things that we don't really get to, which is the culture, the values, the spirit of
Right.
being in a team together that we
Yeah.
can't build.
Right.
So these are my
Mm.
top three. Super amazing for me. We've got all of our clients and businesses working on this killer stuff.
Right.
But when I get done with their plan, and then I get them to look at it, you know what they say to
Right.
me?
Right.
Coach, 2 minggu tak cukup. Oh, now you want to tell me,
yes.
2 weeks not
Yes.
enough,
Yes. 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 So they need a 4 weeks COVID break, lah.
4 weeks coming, but when I say, so what, you need 4 weeks, is it? Janganlah, jangan. Tak need 4 weeks. Cakap, okay. So I said, what, you need 4 weeks now?
Uh,
Uh, so it's
yes. Yes.
super hilarious, but nobody wants this to continue. But
Yes. Nobody.
they are chock-a-block with
Yes.
so many things to do. Now it's like, how am I going to get all this done? Wow.
Right. Right.
That's the kind of direction that
Mm.
all leaders, all entrepreneurs, business owners need. Doesn't matter what business you're in, doesn't matter whether you're in business for yourself, you're freelance, you've got some
Right.
extended team members here and there. Reel them in. Reel
Right.
them in. Yeah,
Right.
create that plan and do it together. Everybody is looking for
Right.
some kind of direction.
Okay. That's true. That's very true. That's very true. All the time. All the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Okay. So just as a summary, right? Can we get the 3 points again before we go on to the questions that some of our audience here
Oh,
have
there are.
already given? Yeah, they already given
Oh,
questions.
oh,
Okay. So
cool.
first thing is like we have the first one is
Tempo, get the beat.
tempo.
Get the beat.
Okay.
Yes.
Just go on, go on,
Okay.
go on, go on.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right. Have
Second
your
one is
huddles. Make sure you do that. Number two, have a plan for world domination, which is your work on the business plan.
right, which is
Those
during
things
this
that
time
you
especially.
during this time, that's right. Those things that you could not do, wanting to do for so long, cannot do it now.
Okay.
And
Okay.
number three, focus on the meaning, build the meaning up of your team members, especially if
Mm-hmm.
you have team members and everybody is always busy. I'm
Yeah.
flying to Kota Baru, then I'm flying to Kota Kinabalu, I'm flying here, I'm flying there. No time to be
Yeah.
all together at
Yes.
once.
Yeah.
Build the meaning now, the
Right.
values, the
Right.
culture, the
Mm.
purpose of
Okay.
each and every person in the team.
Okay. Cool. So now we go on to Q&A. All right, Q&A
Oh,
time. Let me just see.
wow.
All right, so we have some questions. First question is from Fanny, right, from Facebook. How
Oh,
about
yeah.
freelancing, right? Those who are
Hmm.
freelancing, how do you create the tempo with them? Or how do you
Okay.
create the tempo as a freelancer?
How do you create a tempo as a freelancer? Fantastic. I mean, if you're a freelancer, you work for yourself by yourself generally, even more
Yeah,
so. I mean, for freelancers, I really admire people that are freelancing, because whether it is quarantine or not, you gotta have your own tempo. So you
yeah,
probably have it. The
yeah,
challenge is that when you're freelancing, you still got, some of those meetings outside. You can still go out, you can still do stuff, you can still have meetings. The
yeah,
challenge is when you're freelancing,
yeah.
when during this lockdown period, you just got to be able to be more disciplined than ever. Just be
Mm-hmm.
more disciplined. And depending on what kind of freelancing you do, are you a freelance writer, are you a freelance programmer, and freelancing, depending on how you do it, you can still have a lot of your meetings online as well. So for
Mm,
me, if I were to really look at freelancers, quarantine pre or not or during, these people have the highest discipline. They
right.
have to. Yes, because they're not freelancing. You've got a client that is requiring work from you, or you've got to deliver on something. The only challenge now is that because you don't have those timelines, you've got
Yeah.
to build your own plan. So, as a freelancer, a bigger question that I'd also ask is, if I'm not delivering any client timeline, I don't have any project to deliver now.
Yeah.
So, what can I do? So
Right.
a lot of that work on the business, and if I may, I'll just get into that.
Right.
Spending more time on LinkedIn,
Right.
connecting,
Yeah.
creating content that can talk about, your kind of work,
Right.
reaching out to some prospects, and they're having conversations with them on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
and those things are all very, very powerful. I'm just naming a few, but even if you don't have team members, there's so many things that you can do as well to
Right.
build your
Right.
tempo around.
Right. Cool.
Yeah,
I think that's a great answer. All right.
yeah.
So the next
Thank you,
question
Fanny.
is, thanks, Penny, for the question. And then the next one is from Anne Fadlil, Anne Fadil, all right, from LinkedIn.
Mm.
Can you share again the internal skills that we have to focus on at this time?
Ah,
Mm,
okay, okay. If I may, the internal. So you see, external. Thank you so much, Fadil. Great
yeah.
question. So if I may, a lot of the strategies that people tend to focus on is external. So
Right.
what are a lot of the internal strategies if I were to look at it from the business standpoint
Right.
and the personal standpoint? So I'm gonna attack that from two points of view. So
Right.
internal, from a business standpoint, are
Yeah.
your systems, your SOPs, your
Right.
efficiencies, your
Right.
cost managing strategies. You want to kind of look at all of that now, because
Mhm.
business has all gone to a good standstill.
Yeah.
So this is your opportunity to evaluate a lot of these things, because usually when the business is running, all this is
Right.
quite hard to do, right?
Yes.
So on the
Yeah.
business part, the SOPs, the team. So
Right.
systems and team. Now break that down. This is a very, I know this is very high level, Fadil,
Right.
but if I may, anything that has to do with systems that make you more efficient,
Right.
anything that has to do with team that makes you more effective,
Mm-hmm.
all of that, even training your team. I know business owners, they are taking this opportunity, because you remember I told you about that business owner that wanted to do 50 videos by the end of the
Yes.
extended MCO.
Yes.
One of the skills that she's gonna get for her team are video editing skills.
Mm.
And I'm
Yes.
going, wow, that's pretty awesome, because videos are a main strategy for
Yeah.
her. So
Yeah.
internal, on the business front, uh, team and systems.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, because you're talking about internal skills,
Yep.
I assume that that could also be personal. Does that make sense? So, personal as a leader, as an entrepreneur,
Yep.
what are your internal skills that you need?
Right.
Is it leadership skills,
Mm-hmm.
coaching skills, and those are things that
Right.
we talk
Right.
about in the Spark Group Asia. But what other skills, for
Yeah.
example, psychometric, understanding yourself, skills of understanding your own leadership intelligence,
Right.
skills of communication, skills of
Right.
business planning, skills. So you see, these are all internal
Right.
skills that as a leader I would need. And this is a great time to be able to build
Mm-hmm.
those. Does that make sense? So for me,
Mm-hmm.
great question from Anne Fadil is
And for
internal
the
is approach. Anne Fadil is from the business standpoint and the personal standpoint. Uh,
right.
and if I
Right. So all
may,
those things that,
personally,
yeah.
yeah,
Please.
go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead.
Please. No. Go ahead, Marisa. Sorry, I stopped you there.
No, no, no. I just wanted to share one of my internal skills that I'm building is
Yeah.
to learn a new language.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, China is a growing economy,
Yes.
and one of the languages that I don't have is Mandarin. And
Mm-hmm.
so, for me to be able to partake in the next 10 to 20 years of my business growing,
Right.
I gotta speak more than two languages. So yeah, so see, that's also a skill that I'm going. I got the time now to do.
Yeah, there are a lot of things you can do, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
can learn languages, you can read good books, yeah, things
Yes.
like leadership skills, financial skills, so many
Oh
things that you
yeah.
can do. Some people
Oh
are
yeah.
picking up music, cooking.
Music, cooking. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I won't do that. I don't take cooking because I don't want to poison myself at home. I just eat my bread. Yeah. Cook my Maggie
That's
mee. I'm good.
that is difficult. That's difficult.
It's difficult. Yeah. So I'll pick the right skill.
Oh, okay. So we got another question here from Rings Nawanti.
Yeah.
She's an old friend from Indonesia.
Oh wow! All the way from
Okay,
Indonesia.
and she's also running a business.
Okay.
Yeah, so here she has a question, right? Uh, how do you go about to build the meaning for company? Build sort of like how do you go about build the meaning in the company? How do you set the company culture at this time?
Mm. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Ring
Rings,
Nanwanti. Rings.
yes,
Okay, so awesome, Rings.
yes,
Thank you very much. Now that's a
yeah,
really awesome question. It's a question on culture. How do I build a
yeah,
company culture? Okay,
right,
now I've got a long answer and I've got a short answer. So I'm going to give you the short answer first.
okay,
Uh, the short answer is this. The most important part in building the company culture is
okay,
first making sure that the team understands the culture. Now, I'll give you an example. Now, I don't want to
okay,
just say something that's very fluffy and it's out there and you don't understand. So the
mm,
key thing is when we talk about culture, give me one. When we talk about teamwork, for example, that's a
okay,
culture.
right,
When I say teamwork
right,
and Vyasa, when you say teamwork,
right.
is the meaning different? It
Yeah,
could be very.
yeah, yeah,
Now,
you're right.
I've got a
You're right.
different meaning and you've got a different meaning.
You got it.
And that's the number one problem in culture, building the culture, coaching the culture, and coaching the values in a company is that
Right.
a lot of people, business owners, leaders, and entrepreneurs out there, they
Mm-hmm.
come up with words that a lot of people do not understand. So
Mm.
when I use the word teamwork, what I
Yeah.
do is I Google it, or ownership or integrity, I Google it,
Right.
and out comes a description. Now that description is not good enough. So
Yeah.
the taking culture down into behaviors. Now this
Mm-hmm.
is very, very important, and that's what we coach in leadership intelligence and behavioral intelligence, is that
Mm-hmm.
the words that we use for culture are nominalized words. When I say nominalized,
Mm-hmm.
because you join them with another word or you
Right.
make them an extension of another word, the meaning
Right.
is gone. I'll give you an example. If I
Okay.
say team, if I say work, you understand that. But when
Yeah.
I say teamwork and I join that together, what does that become?
Mm.
Okay, now I say the word communicate. Do you understand
Yeah.
that? Now I
Yes.
say communication.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? So what does communication mean? So
Mm-hmm.
see how so these nominalized words people use as their culture. Now bring it
Right.
down to behavior. So bring it down to behaviors means something that I can see, touch, experience. So when I say teamwork,
Mm-hmm.
what is teamwork? How do I see that? What are the sensory evidence of teamwork?
Right.
When one person is helping another,
Right.
despite she has her own work to do, but she would prioritize supporting someone undergoing a stressful moment first
Right.
before going back and doing her tasks.
Right.
Can you imagine that? Can
Mm-hmm.
you imagine somebody doing all
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Okay, so I've given you a very powerful example of
Right.
behavior.
Right.
When you say ownership,
Mm-hmm.
what is that in behavior?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know that too. So when I say ownership, okay, ownership for employees is uh, uh, completing the task to 100%, and if not being able to complete, inform said supervisor before supervisor asks about the task.
Right.
Wow, that is
Okay.
called ownership. Do you see
Mm-hmm.
that? You
Yeah.
are defining it in behaviors. I hope I'm not going too deep here,
No, it's okay.
Rings.
It's good. It's good. It's good. I think it's very good. Yeah.
Yes, yes, because that's the number one problem with culture is that we're
Mm.
using all these big, flurry, fuzzy
Words.
words.
Yeah.
Yeah, that people don't understand.
Right.
Employees don't understand, and just
Right.
because you Googled it off of Oxford and it's giving it a definition, but
Right.
you're not describing the behaviors you want to see. Taking
Mm.
it further, if you want to coach your employees on culture, can you
Mm-hmm.
even define, let's say teamwork, can you define what what behaviors will look like low teamwork,
Mm-hmm.
average teamwork, and high teamwork?
Mm-hmm. So
Now, if
define it.
you yes, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you even define teamwork if it's an average?
Right.
If, because when I can do that
Right.
as an employee, I am able to, and this is one of the premises that we work on. Human beings, when they know where they are, and you see
Right.
we've done this exercise so many times,
Right.
when we eventually draw up the behaviors, you know what, the employees get totally out of whack. They go, oh my gosh, I'm in low.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I do all these things, I am high.
Right.
Really? Yeah. I mean, they get totally out of like, oh, I didn't know that that is actually low on teamwork based on your
Expectation.
behaviors, yeah, and your
Mm.
definitions.
Mm.
Interesting. So when the employee understands that, he or she is able to, so they can see where am I on low. Oh, no, that's me. Oh, I'm average here. Oh, I'm high here.
Right.
When employees know that, they are able to self align.
Mm.
Because if I
When they
know I'm
know it
in
very
low,
clearly, right?
correct.
Right.
Oh, this is high. Maybe I'll start doing that.
Right.
So they can self align. We come from a place that people actually, the intentions of people is to do good,
Right.
they want to be good.
Yep.
But the challenge is, do they know how to be good? That's a really amazing question, Rings, because
Right.
I coach culture and I talk about it all the time. And it's a killer, amazing session where you come up with what we call a culture matrix.
Right.
So the culture matrix is the low, average, and the high. And you're able to pin it right down to the behaviors you want to see.
Right.
Super
Okay. Okay.
powerful. Super
Cool.
powerful. Yeah. Yeah. Great
So
stuff.
rings. I hope that answers your question.
Okay.
Okay, and hope you are doing good in Sulawesi.
Oh,
And
you're from
please, yeah,
Sulawesi. That's pretty
yeah,
awesome. Hope you're doing safe over there,
yeah,
Rings.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and let me know if you this response made sense. Hopefully, you're able to apply it all the way out there. Never been
Okay.
to Sulawesi, so hope I can go there one day.
Nice place. Nice
Nice
place.
place. Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Another question from Anand, right? How do you find the right people for your team?
Oh my gosh,
Mm,
that is a whole other webinar.
I know. I know.
That's
Maybe you
a
can
whole.
answer it briefly here, lah.
Okay. Thank you. Smiley face. Um, how do you find the right people for the
Yeah.
team?
Yeah.
So many factors, so many
Right.
factors here. You talk about first the recruitment process. So the
Right.
recruitment process is very important. Now, recruitment process, the interviews, how you interview, and for me, one very key thing is the employee earns the interview by having the right skills.
Right.
So it's truly important. Yeah. So
Okay.
when I say, so they come into the interview because they already mirror some level of skills that you need. and
Right.
and some people are in the knack of loving to bring on board people that don't have skills.
Mm-hmm.
They don't,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have the skills, so that can be difficult as a leader and as a business owner, because then you end up having to train the skills. So
Yeah.
if you best can, it comes down to in your recruitment, the interview that you have with said employee, he or
Mm-hmm.
she already has the skills that you need. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so this is actually very, very important. And
Okay.
then, so see, that's on skills, because there's always
Mhm.
two elements. Remember, it's performance and it's the meaning,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then we want to evaluate some of the values that the person has. All right. So
Right.
then you want to ask some really, really good questions. And some of the questions that I really love, if you've ever read this book called Hiring for Attitude by Mark Murphy, my
Mm-hmm.
favorite book, you can quote that. These are some of the
Right.
resources that we're really, really good at having. The hiring for attitude process is the
Right.
way you ask questions.
Right.
And so you want to ask questions around, for example, this is a very good question. Okay, give me a time when you had a challenge with
Right.
one of your colleagues.
Right.
Give me a time when you had a challenging time with a customer.
Right.
Give me a time. Now,
Right.
this is very, very crucial, because Hiring for Attitude, Mark Murphy's
Right.
book,
Right.
actually teaches you to understand the response. Now,
Okay.
most of the time we ask that question, but you know what we ask most of the time, Vyasa?
Right.
We're asking questions like this. Give me a time when you had a difficult customer and how did you solve it?
Okay. Okay.
Notice we
Almost
ask
the
like that.
same. There's a slight.
Almost the same,
Yeah. Yeah.
almost the same, but the last part, you assume that they solved it. So if you
Mm,
leave it hanging, ask the first time. Give me a time when you had a challenging customer.
right.
Don't ask, and what did you do? How did you solve it? What was your
Right.
solution? Blah blah blah. Don't
Right.
don't do that.
Right.
Why? Because there are some people that are designed to tell you a lot about the problem,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then they don't go into solution on their own. Don't push them there.
Right. So you want to see whether they actually solve it on their own.
That's right, because a
Mm.
problem solver, easy, and that's
Right.
the number one. That's a key character we want, huh? People that
Right.
can solve problems, huh? A
Yeah.
problem solver would go into problem solving on their own. You don't need to ask. But if
Interesting.
you ask, yeah, if you asked, they're gonna go, and how did I solve it? I would, I could, I may, I. They go
Mm.
into that. So those are not real answers.
Right. Right.
So this is very, very important. So if I may just pick up the book, we've got a lot of time now.
Yeah.
Hiring for Attitude, Mark Murphy teaches you the response. I mean, even get into his YouTube videos, it's amazing. There is even a line of questions that he teaches you how to identify
Oh.
someone's coachability from the
Oh.
interview. He
Wow.
teaches you what to listen to.
Interesting. Interesting.
So just a very, very key part on that. Two parts. Very, very good question on hiring the right person is the skills that they need.
Right.
That's pretty much going to be in their CV.
Right.
And the second one is how do you interview and understand their character, their values before they even
Right.
come in.
Right.
So don't lead them
Interesting.
with your questions.
Interesting. Very good. Very good. Hope that answered your questions, Anand. Okay, let's see if there's any. Oh, okay. You another question, the last one for today. Okay, before we end
Okay.
it, Marisa, you have
Okay.
one more, few more minutes.
Yes, yes, I do.
Okay. So from Liv Bernadette, I think you
All
know her,
right.
right? Our
I do.
friend.
I
Okay.
do. Okay.
Okay. So the she asks the question: what kind of strategy will be good to follow when all of this is over? To world
World
dominate,
domination.
more
Okay.
for like my kind of business, non-essential kind. Okay. So Liv is also running a business where she sells
Candles. Yep.
candles,
The most.
and yeah, beautiful
Yeah.
candles.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Now I know Liv. Livia, it's really, really good to see you here. Thank you for this awesome question. And if I may, uh,
Yeah.
uh, world domination. You're doing something really good right now, Livia. I think for
Okay.
me, you're staying consistent. So the consistency is amazing, and for me, everybody starts to know you as the candle person, the person that makes the most beautiful candles. And if I am just I'm on your Instagram and I look at some of your designs, you're coming up with crazy designs. You're in almost every festivity. You're doing a lot of great, great, great stuff now. And when we talk about world domination, all right, world domination, how do you set yourself up? And when you say non-essential, all right, uh, uh, create a very powerful need for candles. And that's the thing. Every product, there is a very strong emotional value to it. And with candles, it's a very emotional product. It is. And in anything that we do, whether it's insurance, whether it's financial products, whether it's buying a handphone, buying a car, any of it is very emotional. So for me, when you're looking at world domination, is that consistency in the emotional connection you continue to communicate out there with
Right.
your product.
Okay.
And you're the authority that you're the authority in building and designing all of these, and that will set you up for world domination. Is that consistent communication and content out there. So
Right.
so
Right.
keep doing that, but continue building on that content.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I hope that
Awesome.
helps. Yeah.
Good. Good answer. Hope that
Okay.
helps, Liv. And
Okay.
okay, the last one is by from Wilson. He asked, you know, our friend Wilson, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wilson 10.
Yes. So he
Of
asked,
course.
when can he buy us a drink?
A virtual drink is
No, no, no. Must be a
the
real
real
one,
drink.
huh?
The
Okay. As
real
soon
one.
as this
Oh,
COVID is over, Wilson,
yes. Yes,
we
yes,
will
yes.
call you. All right. Okay.
Must, must.
Any last words, Marisa, before we end this interview? It was a great interview. Thank you so much. Anything you
Thank
want to
you. Thank
share
you.
before you end this?
I think final words. First of all, Vyasa, thank you for doing this interview. I think I have to say that I enjoy all the content. I love all of the interviewees that you bring up. Some really amazing people, some old friends as well. So I'm really happy to see that you're doing this. This is the
Awesome.
form of support for our entrepreneur community and in times like
Right.
this. And so it's
Right.
important that we continue to put all these positive words out here. And my last message, of course, is to all the leaders and entrepreneurs out there. Don't think that you're alone. In times like this, when we're all holed up in our house, and sometimes we're just left with our thoughts. It's pretty scary because some of that talking that we do can be pretty scary. And just know that be on those webinars, give that friend a call, reach out, have that
Yes.
conversation, and that's
Yes. Yes.
really important right now. And courage, if I may just leave one final quote. I
Yes.
read this morning,
Right.
and I talked about courage. A lot of people think courage is absence of fear.
Right.
No, that's not true. And in the times that are coming ahead of us, courage is about mastering the fear. And so, even
Mm.
though it is a little fearful out there, a little uncertain, and we're not sure what's going to happen, um, be as courageous as you can, but do know that you're not alone. So,
Right.
that's my final words.
Awesome interview, Marisa. Awesome, awesome facts, awesome tips. And I
Thank you.
hope, it was really good value for everybody here, I'm sure.
Yeah.
If anyone, if you all find this good value, just, put up a thumbs up here so that Marisa can see it, right? Yeah, we give love to our speakers, right? And okay, so thank you again and hope to
Thank
see
you.
you again, Marisa.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Yeah, whenever, just let me know. Thank you so
Bye bye.
much, Vyasa. Thank you. And thanks, Anand. Bye.
Bye.